Well, hello there, Dippers, and welcome back to the fifth and final Sauce on the Side Fantasy Series. Today, we will be breaking down defenses and kickers. We're going to mesh them together because obviously we can't talk for 15 minutes about kickers or defenses. So, as always, I'm your host, Drake, joined by the man, the producer, Mr. Leighton Pip Shaventone.
Long road home, we're finally here.
And our guest, Mr. Lex Glasgow.
Back on the gas, boys.
Back on the gas.
We're gassing it up for the kickers.
Back on the gas.
We're gassing it up for them.
Gassing it up. So we will start it off hot and heavy with defenses. We will talk about teams because in defense it's kind of crazy. There's just teams that are either worth drafting or not worth drafting. Defenses that can at least give you a chance every single week. We'll kind of tier them together, and then we will go to kickers and basically just talk about the kickers that are even worth having. I think there's really two tiers for kickers. Mm-hmm. There's the guys that are going to get you a handful of points every single week, and then there's the guys that you just hope don't miss extra points and field goals. So we'll start it off. Defense, we'll start off with Tier 1 defenses. These are your just basically the Bears from last year, Jags from the year before, like teams that you see that are heads and shoulders above everybody else. What is our Tier 1 defenses?
So, first off, I want to say this. For defenses, do not take them before round 11. Maybe round 12. They're just not worth it. Absolutely not worth it. But top tier defense?
Because, well, if you think about the best defenses over the last 2 years, the Jags, nobody thought they were going to be good. And the Bears, nobody thought they were going to be good.
Yeah, or at least as good as they were.
Yes, as good as they were.
As good as they were, yeah.
Yeah, you thought they'd be top 10.
You knew they'd be good, but not that good.
Yes.
Yeah, so for defenses, Tier 1, my opinion on one end, that's Chicago defense. They bring back basically everybody.
Adding HaHa Clinton Dix for Adrian Amos, and that's it.
So that's it. They still have Khalil Mack, because he's healthy. They got Akeem Hicks. They got A. Jackson back. Our defense a lot. But however, they're going around 8. There's 0% chance I have the Bears defense on any of my teams this year.
Somebody in your draft will take the Bears before round 8.
Yeah.
Guarantee
Yes.
it.
0% chance I have them.
I think you look at a team like, the Ravens this year, too. They're going to stop the run every single week, and they just added, who's probably the best safety in all football, Earl Thomas. Mm-hmm. They're going to be virtually unable to throw the ball against this year. They're all, Harbaugh loves special teams play. They always have that, good special teams. They're always in that top 5 defense range. I think they're one of those teams that will be up there like they always are.
Yeah, I see them as a top 2, a second-tier defense.
Yeah.
Like the Bears, where they pressure the quarterback, they get a lot of sacks, they get a lot of hits, and they get interceptions to top it off. The Baltimore Ravens last year, they were a team that just couldn't intercept the ball. I really like them. They were a top 5 defense, but they only had 12 interceptions. Earl Thomas, not even Earl Thomas is interceptions counting. I think the remainder of the defense will total for 12 total just because of Earl Thomas's presence over the top.
I think that's what gives them the knock. The year's been they don't take the ball away through the air, but everything else is there for them. You virtually cannot run the ball against them at all. So
no.
That's by default you have to throw. And Earl Thomas being there, you know what he can do. Look what he did in Seattle. And he's healthy. They're gonna be one of the top echelon defenses this year.
I do agree with that. I think they will be a top tier defense. I don't know if I would necessarily put them in that top 1 though. One defense that I think will be a top second tier defense would be the Jacksonville Jaguars. Guys, last year was just a mess. The whole thing was a mess. The quarterback position was a mess. Leonard Fournette wasn't showing up to pictures, getting kicked off. Like the whole entire thing is a mess. So I think this year they actually have something to prove, which is how they were 2 seasons ago whenever we saw the defense lit up. I think a lot of people are going to overlook this Jaguars team who had given up a lot of points last year. They were very, very bad defensively. They had their games. They shut the Colts out just randomly one week. I think we're going to get more of that from this Jaguars defense, who's virtually the same core that we saw just 2 years ago. Shock the NFL.
Yeah, no, I mean, last year it was kind of shocking almost how they weren't bad, but it was shocking that they were at where they were at, being they had, like I said, everybody back and just young guys getting better.
Yes.
It was all a shit show in Jacksonville. Probably a shit show again this year to a point, but I think that Jacksonville will get that tier on defense side of the ball at least.
Any other tier 2 defenses?
Kind of like Minnesota. I mean, nobody saw it at home at least. NFC North doesn't have the best offense to deal with, and they don't have the toughest scheduled offenses either. So they're a team that I can see getting 8 points a week. They're another team last season that had a lot. I don't know what the issues were Minnesota last year,
They
but
underperformed.
they
big
underperformed
time.
humongously last year.
Well, they were one of the few teams that had 50 sacks last year. And the defense still wasn't producing at the level that we thought they should for as talented as they are. Now that they brought Anthony Barr back, I do like this as a tier 2 defense. And they're actually going 4 rounds later than the Bears and 2 rounds later than the Jaguars.
I think a team that I don't think they're there yet, but they could sneak in there by the end of the year is the Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
You got Derwin James, who's just had a monster rookie
I'm
year.
locking them up to be a top tier 2 defense. I think they're there, man.
You think
So I think they are too.
You've got 4 defenders that could potentially be all-pro this year with Joey Bosa, Melvin Ingram, Casey Hayward, Derwin James. That's 4 guys
yes.
that not just Pro Bowl, all-pro.
Yeah, I think they'll lock.
I think they're a lock. I just think it's the linebacker play that's hurt them so bad here recently. They're good on the edge and they're good over the top. It's just, can they figure it out there at the linebacker position?
Another team that I'm going to put in that tier 2, and a lot of people might think that I'm crazy on this because if you look, they're getting drafted in the 14th round, rated as the 10th defense going right now, is the Denver Broncos. You look at who their head coach is, guys, it's Vic Fangio, the mastermind behind the Bears defense from just a season ago, and also was the mastermind behind the defense that won the Super Bowl for the Ravens. So I am really on board with this team, especially with the talent that they have on the team. You can have a good coach and not have the talent, and they can fall short, but Von Miller, he's not dead. Nick Chubb, he's not dead. Like, these guys are elite pass rushers. Bradley Chubb, and they have 2 of them coming off the edge. So you have 2 guys that are legitimate top 20, top 30 pass rushers that are going to be getting after the quarterback. And the way that Vic Fangio designs his defense is to be able to get to the quarterback. I think this is a team that you could realistically see getting 50 sacks before next season's over.
I know. I'm about to say this too. Denver's going to be a defense I have a lot because they're going 10th.
Yes.
I have them a lot of times. People talk about this kid got overshadowed. Bradley Chubb had a historic rookie season last year. I think for sacks he was 2nd or 3rd. Tied 2nd, I think, in sacks for rookie last season. No reason why he can't get better than that this season. Denver's a team, defense-wise, I'm going to have all over the place.
No, and, they're just a couple of years removed from being that team that just, you couldn't go to Denver and do anything.
No.
You went there and offense was shut down completely.
Yes. I am all on board with this Broncos defense, and like Leighton said, this is a defense that you should have a lot of, and don't overdraft them because they're going in the 14th round right now, so don't push the pace on them. Get them at 12. You can overdraft them by 2 rounds and still not put your neck out there.
Yeah, I mean, it's round 12.
Yes. At round 12, go ahead and grab that defense, and if the Broncos are there, they're going to be a fine choice.
Yeah.
Now, I think a team that, you're looking there 14th, 15th round, you haven't drafted defense yet, you're sitting back. I think the Cowboys are a team that can do that. They get after the quarterback hard.
And they're a team that's not going to kill you.
Yeah.
They might not get a ton of turnovers and not a ton of, defensive touchdowns, but they're just going to be consistent every week.
They're going to be consistent around that 8 to 10 point range every single week with the fact that they get after the quarterback. They're going to have the week where they get those sacks and they're going to score you 15 points or so. It's just a matter of if they can turn the ball over, which I think they will have their weeks where they do.
That Dallas defense is actually going over the Broncos right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd do that.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And another question one, being able to never shift gears here, but the Rams are going in the 9th round.
I don't see it.
I don't understand that one at all.
You lose Ndamukong Suh. Obviously the numbers weren't there for Ndamukong Suh, but Ndamukong Suh just being on the field is a presence in itself. I think a lot of people are drafting it just because they know Aaron Donald.
You're drafting Aaron Donald.
Yes. That's what you're doing.
You're not drafting the Rams defense. You're drafting Aaron Donald. Don't do that.
Yeah, the same team that allowed 50 points on them last year against the Chiefs. A defense I actually really like this year is Pittsburgh. And the Steelers are going in the 14th round. They're going as the 13th defense overall. Last year, they led the NFL in sacks and quarterback hits, which not a whole lot of people probably realize. The only reason they were so bad in fantasy was because they just weren't getting turnovers. And we know that turnovers a lot of skill is involved, but there's also a lot of luck on quarterbacks making bad reads, bad passes, ball gets tipped the wrong way, ball rolls out of bounds. They only had 8 interceptions last year as a team, and all this defense really did. I know Joe Hayden got hurt. I don't really know the extent on it. But they added Devin Bush, and Devin Bush in the preseason already looks like a monster, and we saw in college that he is a monster. There's a reason why this team traded up for him. I imagine that they're still going to be able to get to the quarterback at a high rate like they did last year. I can guarantee you this team is not going to only intercept 8 passes this year. And Devin Bush is going to solidify things in the run game and being able to run side to side, what they missed not having Ryan Shazier there over the last year. So I really like the Steelers, especially being a team that you can get in the 14th round.
Too. I think past that, that's what kind of the drop-off of defenses is.
I think unless...
Because Houston now, anymore Houston, Rayon Clowney isn't in camp right now. Watts hurt again. It is too hard to imagine that defense being healthy again this whole season.
Yeah, no, I agree. The secondary is the biggest question around that team basically over the last 3 years, and guess what? They let Tyrann Mathieu walk. So I honestly, I think I was just looking for one, but yeah, those are the only 10 that I really have a ton of faith in. I mean, obviously, Philadelphia, they're going to be stout. They're going to be similar in the Cowboy aspect where they're not going to kill you any weeks. So it's fine to take them. Cleveland going 7th defense overall.
Yeah. I don't understand that one either. I mean,
No.
Miles Garrett, Denzel Ward, really doing that much for you. Ogba, you got Ogba still?
Real Peppers.
Real Peppers. So they got some pieces. I mean, they're all super young pieces. And you're actually hoping that they become what they can be this season, that evaluation, but
I would feel more comfortable streaming a defense based on a matchup over taking the Browns.
Yes.
Yes, I 100% agree. Are there any defenses that you guys really like?
Like Denver, a lot like Chargers, Baltimore. Those are probably the 3 that I have.
Those are the teams that we
Yeah.
named.
Chargers,
I would not
Baltimore.
draft any other defense that we did not specifically name and talk about.
No.
I mean, honestly.
If you don't get one of those defenses that we said, take your defense 16th round, stream every week.
Yes.
Play the matchup, play
Yes.
the waiver wire.
I 100% agree. All right, so time to get to the big hitters. Boys, we have the kickers.
Foot on the gas, right, Lex?
Foot on the gas.
baby.
Run it home. So right now, I'm going to look and see what round kickers are going in. Okay, so it's not like the tight end position where all of a sudden we just have like a big run on them early.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. We don't have kickers going until like the 12th, 13th round. So what kickers would we put? I said there's 2 different tiers. There's the kickers that you know are going to be great every single week, like Cody Parkey a year ago. And then you have kickers that we're just praying make their extra points, make their field goals. They're not going to do anything extraordinary for you, but they're also not going to lose you a week. They'll get you 6 points.
Number 1, Justin Tucker.
Yes.
He's the best to ever do it.
If he gets to the other side of the 50, he's damn near
Money.
He's automatic. If you are... I've never been at the point where I was a kicker before the first kicker goes, but if you're to that point, take Justin Tucker.
I'm always the guy that's sitting there, I'm like, wow, 6 people's drafted a kicker already.
That's me too.
And I usually have success doing that. And I'm like, yeah, I should probably find a kicker. So I won't be taking any of these guys that we name in the top tier. Justin Tucker is a fine one. I really like Greg Zuerlein, obvious reasons. Anytime you're on one of the best offenses of football, you're going to have extra point attempts. You're going to be on the right side of the 50. Greg Zuerlein is in that tier 1 of kicker. Lex, do you have any other tier 1 kickers that you like?
Not really, to be honest with you guys. I mean, I think everything else you look after Justin Tucker, you just sitting back and you just take what's there.
Yes.
You stream it. You try to find maybe one of the top dome kickers, guys that are
That's what I was
kicking
about to
inside. You try and find one of the guys that are kicking inside. You go after Matt.
Check out the
Prater.
list.
I have a list.
Kickers.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it. You take Vinatieri, Will Lutz, Zuerlein.
Matt Prater.
Yeah.
You have
Tavecchio.
the kickers. I seriously have the kickers listed out, dome, non-dome. That's how I evaluate kicking talent. Guys, I've been the proud owner of Matt Bryant basically since I started playing fantasy football. I knew his offense was always going to be decent. I knew he had a good quarterback. I knew they were going to score points. And I also knew that he was going to be not only playing in his dome, but also the Mercedes-Benz dome. So he's going to be playing in a dome guaranteed every single year 9 times.
So yes, every single year. So let's just say this: we're either big on the Saints kicker or the Falcons kicker.
9 guaranteed dome games.
Yeah.
Same thing with Adam Vinatieri.
Will Lutz, I actually have him written on here too.
Same thing with Adam Vinatieri. He
Yes.
plays 8 games a year at home, 1 game a year at least in Houston in the dome.
Yes.
That's
Uh,
not,
uh,
yes.
Yep.
I have Matt Prater written on here too. I really like dome kickers that I have written that I will play.
Yes.
Will Lutz, Adam Vinatieri, Matt Prater, and then Giorgio Tavecchio. I'm not huge on him though. I would honestly take one of the non-dome kickers over him. And then obviously we have the two guys we put in the tier 1, and then Gostkowski. Steven Gostkowski, he's always going to be scoring you points. Harrison Butker, just by default, being on that Kansas City roster, scoring a ton of points. And then my last non-dome kicker that I would pick, Robbie Gold.
I knew that was coming.
Yep.
I
A
would
bottom
too.
of consistency, man.
Yes.
I mean, the kicking position, I feel like you guys probably don't have anybody else written down or anybody that you would even entertain putting on your roster over the guys I'd named.
Nope, that's it. That's
You just
that's literally the podcast right there.
you hope they don't miss, and you hope they make the extra points, and then you just you kind of got to take that fucking outage when your kicker's on a bye week, and you're like, oh shit, what do I do this week?
You just gotta like, well, go up somebody. They're not gonna
Help somebody.
Kamie Forbaron for the Houston Texans. People are picking him as the 6th kicker.
He kicks the ball really far.
Yeah.
He's a fucking lake.
Yeah.
Dome kicker.
That's important in
Dome
fantasy
kicker.
football.
Dome
Dude,
kicker.
I'm telling you, you're either a good kicker or you kick in a dome. Those are the two things that we look for when we play our kicker.
Another guy, maybe Dan Bailey.
Yeah.
He's kicking from Minnesota in a dome.
In a dome.
In a dome.
Yep, in a dome.
I mean, it's
And then
really
also
hard in
he gets
Green-
to play in Detroit.
Yeah.
Yep, but we hold in Green Bay and Chicago in the winter. But hey, you know what? You about that shit? If they
Hey, as long as
you
he
don't like
goes there,
it, you
as
drop
long as he
him.
goes there and makes his extra points and his 20-yard field goals, that's fine.
As a kicker too, you don't like it, you just drop him and get a kicker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even see that Matt Prater's getting drafted.
He is not.
That's a mistake.
On my list.
If you're in the 16th round praying for a kicker, get Matt Prater. Do yourself a favor.
Don't think Michael Badgley from the Chargers and heard of before right now.
Yeah, kickers just basically the same guys every single year, and we just
If you haven't heard of him, don't draft him.
yes, exactly,
He's a
dude.
rookie, so do not take
Do
Bradley.
not take a rookie kicker.
Yeah, dude. Well, kickers bounce around from team to team
Yes.
for like 4 years until they finally get to where they can kick in NFL games because it's more of a pressure position, not a. The position is more about pressure than it is about ability. So take that for what you want. Anything else on the kicker position?
So you said 13th round, Tucker's gone, and the run's gone. Just wait till round 16.
Yes.
Take a
Because
dome
there's
guy.
honestly no point. Like, end of the year, look at all the numbers. They're going to be super close, and you're probably not going to win many games because you're kicker.
Yes, I absolutely agree.
Take a dome guy. Figure out who has the top offense. Try to get him. That's
Yes,
it.
exactly. And on that note, for Drake, for Leighton, and Lex, Dippers, as always, stay saucy.